Hey y'all, this is Tim from the LV with today's shot of Self-Confidence Espresso. And the subject for this clip is going to be how to be successful at anything. And I thought there's no better place in the world to shoot this clip than in the local hockey rink, where right now the high school and JV teams from this area have taken to the ice for their first summer skate. And they put the pads on, they're starting to get ready for the season, which starts September, October, and will run all the way through March. And the kids behind me right now are practicing the concept that if you and I practice, it'll take us to heights that we never ever achieved before. And that's the concept of modeling. So what is modeling? Modeling says that anytime you want to be successful, all you have to do is identify somebody who's more successful than you are and do what they did. Because success leaves a trail or leaves a blueprint. In other words, once somebody has figured out how to be successful, and you can replicate success, it's not a mystery. Once somebody's figured out how to be successful, then they've identified the behaviors, the thoughts, the emotions, the actions, whatever it is that's needed to get them to that level of success. And the cool thing is that once they've figured it out, all we have to do is find out what they did, how they thought, the actions that they took, replicate that in our own lives. In other words, think the same thoughts, take the same actions, believe the same things, and we can become more successful as well. And the kids behind me right now are perfect examples of modeling. You know, if you go into most of these kids' bedrooms, I bet you there's posters of pro hockey players hanging up, whether it's Sidney Crosby or Claude Giroux or Patrick Kane or whoever it might be. These kids identify the best in the world, and then they start to study them. They watch them on TV, they read about them, they visualize and pretend that they're that player in all situations, and they totally emulate that individual. And modeling works exactly the same way. So once it is that you figure out what you want to do or become, or what you want to be more successful at, how do you model? Well, here's what you do. Number one is you identify somebody who's better at it than you are. And I would encourage you to pick somebody who's best in the world, not just best in the area, because the higher degree of success they've achieved, the more refined the behaviors are going to be. And look, you may not hit their level of success, but you'll get a lot further imitating somebody who's best in the world than somebody who's just average on the local level. So figure out who's best in the world. Next thing is study that person. Read about them, learn about them, try to figure out as much about them as you can. Now, actually, don't be creepy about it, but figure out what they did in life. If you can grab biographies about them and watch documentaries on them, do it. If you can actually get some face-to-face time with them, seek that out and do it. Pursue them and figure out what did they do, what did they believe, how did they think, and study them just like you would anything else. These kids study their heroes, and I would say you and I should do the same. We should figure out who's the best in the world, and we should start to study them and put those behaviors into practice. And then it becomes to just starting to execute, practicing those behaviors day in and day out, and day in and day out, and not relenting, keeping at it and keeping at it. And pretty soon, if we do that, and we continue to pursue that model, we will become successful at whatever it is we want to. You know, a lot of the kids out here, there's little tiny kids on JV who are super small, and they look up to the bigger kids on the ice and to one of the local pro hockey teams, the Hershey Bears, or to the Flyers or to the Penguins. And those kids go to the games and they just immerse themselves in those people who are super successful and the people who they want to be like. Well, you and I can do the same thing. By immersing ourselves in their example and copying what they do, we can be successful at anything we want to. It doesn't matter if it's business or education or sports or having a more healthy family or whatever it is. Once you figure out somebody who you want to copy, lock on to them, study them, put into practice what they do, and then practice those behaviors every day. And then as you get better, incorporate more and more people. Maybe you model one particular thing from one person and another particular thing from somebody else. That's awesome. It rounds you out. You can use a collection of people to say, hey, what did they do that worked? Because I'm going to follow through on that same suit. So I would encourage you and me to say, hey, where do we want to go? What do we want to become better at? Who is best in the world at that? What did they do, think, feel, etc. to get them there, and start to practice that on a daily basis. And through consistency and persistence, you're going to rise higher and you're going to get to a level that you never even thought you could. So, Tim from the LV saying, hoping you're having a great day and continue to kill it. If you have a video you'd like me to shoot, you can email it to me at the link above, or you can message me via Facebook. Hoping you have an awesome day, and I will talk to you soon.